Live from WRAL News Headquarters in Raleigh, your number one source for local news. WRAL News, coverage you can count on.
Thunderstorms could fire up along this front this afternoon, but the main event is still out here. I'll show you when both arrive coming up.
Raleigh police take the stand. What each of them said to the court about a case involving a man charged with killing his mother and attacking his father.
And lobbying for justice. Members of historically black fraternities and sororities converge at the state capitol to raise their voices in support of DEI programs.
There are some storm showers in our forecast for part of the viewing area later this afternoon into the evening. Good afternoon to you right now. I'm Jeff Hogan.
And I'm Renee Chu. Thanks for joining us. Meteorologist Kat Campbell is in the WRAL Severe Weather Center with a look at where some of the storms could be severe.
And we're going to be watching our northern counties. That's where the front is stalled right now in southern Virginia. So we'll first see our thunderstorms form there, and then they're going to sag to the south a little bit closer to the triangle later this evening. Check out all the lightning to the west in parts of Texas and Oklahoma. That part of the system will get here later this week, possibly even into the weekend. So we'll have that to watch for in the long term. That's where there's a level 3 threat for severe weather today. For us, it's north and east of Raleigh that we could see an isolated severe storm. The threat for us locally would include damaging wind gusts, some hail possible, and perhaps some localized heavy rainfall. Starting this afternoon on Futurecasts, we're pretty quiet initially. By 3 o'clock, we could have a storm or two right near the Virginia border. As we move on ahead closer to the evening commute, though, those storms continue to develop, mainly in our northern counties, primarily north of the triangle for the evening commute. But closer to dinner time and into the later hours tonight, I think that's when we'll end up with the best chance of showers and storms closer to the triangle, Johnston County over toward Wilson and Sanford. Overnight, we dry out, and by the time you wake up, you'll be off to a dry morning commute again tomorrow. Outside right now, we're sitting at 81 degrees in Raleigh and at RDU, 78 in Cary, 79 in Apex and Holly Springs, 76 Garner, 80 in Wake Forest at the moment. We could tie record highs today as we approach 90 degrees by this afternoon. If you want to head to the playground, this is your best chance before we see those storms roll in later on. I'll have the latest thoughts for your weekend forecast coming up.
Thanks, Kat. All eastbound lanes of I-40 in Johnson County are now open to traffic after a crash near Cleveland Road. Sky 5 flew over the scene just a few hours ago. Traffic was stalled, creating miles of backups. A fire truck had blocked all lanes at NC 42 while officers investigated. It's unclear what caused the crash and if anyone was hurt.
We are hearing from some of the first witnesses in the murder trial for a man charged with killing his mother. Christopher McCullough could face the death penalty if a jury convicts him. WRAL's Noah Klein is here now with who testified this morning. Noah.
Jeff, 5 Raleigh police officers so far have taken the stand. The jury has also had a chance to see this new video of Raleigh police questioning McCullough the night he was arrested. In the video, you hear McCullough say he blacked out and had no memory that his parents were hurt. This all happened last August over on Ingate Way in Raleigh. McCullough told police he went to the home because his parents were raping his son. His parents had taken out a protective order against him previously. John McCullough and Mary McCullough were found beaten so badly they were unconscious. Mary McCullough later died and her son was arrested. He was charged with murder, kidnapping his child, the family dog, and stealing their car. Here's part of that new interview where McCullough said he didn't remember anything or why he was arrested.
You don't remember assaulting them. You don't remember seeing them being assaulted. You don't remember seeing blood all over their faces. You don't remember seeing them pass out. You don't remember seeing them laid out anywhere, anything like that. Yes, sir.
As for what comes next here, the state is expected to finish with their witnesses today before the defense starts to call their own.
All right, Noah, thanks for that update. North Carolina has a new DMV commissioner. Paul Tyne will replace Wayne Goodwin, who has led the DMV since 2022. Tyne served 2 terms in the State House of Representatives, representing Dare, Hyde, Washington, and Beaufort counties. He says he'll work to address wait times, staffing challenges, and customer satisfaction. His first day is May 6th, one day before the REAL ID takes effect across the nation.
Members of the 9 historically black sororities and fraternities came to Raleigh today to make their voices heard at the legislature, just as legislators prepare to vote on a bill that many of the members oppose. WRAL Capitol Bureau Chief Laura Leslie joins us live from the event downtown. Laura.
Renee, the Divine Nine, as they're known, come here to the legislature every year for an advocacy day. It's not usually a highly political or partisan event, but this is not a usual year. House legislators are scheduled to debate a bill today that would ban any form of DEI or affirmative action in state government. Republican leaders, taking a page from President Donald Trump, have targeted DEI, saying it's discriminatory. The issue was a recurring theme in this morning's speeches, from Governor Josh Stein and Attorney General Jeff Jackson to Phi Beta Sigma leader Simon Akadema.
We do not just show up for a photo op, but we stand up for social justice, equity, for our communities, for our HBCUs, and for diversity, equity, and inclusion. Our presence in these legislative halls is a powerful act of advocacy. And what I can promise you is that we will fight, we will advocate, we will speak up on behalf of those who will benefit and who have benefited from policies like that.
That was State Representative and Alpha Phi Alpha member Rodney Pierce. He said the vote on the anti-DEI bill has already been postponed twice because protesters filled the gallery. Protesters have told me they're planning to be here again today, along with, of course, the members of the Divine Nine. That voting session is scheduled to start at 1 p.m. We'll be watching and we'll let you know what happened later on. Laura Leslie, WRAL News, live in Raleigh.
Also on the legislative front, today state lawmakers will discuss two bills that could impact you on the roads. The first focuses on helping the flow of traffic. It says vehicles should not impede normal traffic. The bill would also not allow certain trucks to drive in the leftmost lane on major interstates with 6 or more lanes. There are exceptions for certain vehicles, like farm tractors. The bill also looks to raise the minimum speed limit on interstates and main highways by 5 miles per hour. The next bill would get rid of graduated licensing. Graduated licensing puts specific restrictions in place for teen drivers as they start learning how to drive. It includes a learner's permit and provisional license. The process helps new drivers gain experience over time and requires a letter from school for teen drivers. The law was originally meant to reduce deadly crashes involving teens and keep students in school.
We're working to get an update on the condition of a woman who was injured at an apartment complex in Raleigh. The WRAL breaking news tracker captured this video of an ambulance leaving the complex heading to the hospital. It happened at West Grove Towers before 6 o'clock this morning. One woman was injured in what police said was an apparent stabbing. That woman's expected to survive. 2 people accused of kidnapping a mom and her 1-year-old daughter are due in court soon. Paula and Miguel Duran are facing 2 charges of kidnapping, and both are scheduled to be in a Wake County courtroom this afternoon. The kidnapping happened around 2 a.m. yesterday. Police say 3 people broke into a home while wearing masks and carrying guns and demanded $1 million. Officers say the pair kidnapped his wife, Alondra De Jesus, and her 1-year-old child, Gracia Benitez. They were found safe in Wake Forest.
Taking a look at stocks now, the Dow is sliding there, down 170 points after a fresh report shows the American economy is shrinking. The S&P 500 also in the red and NASDAQ in the red as well. A new report out today from the Commerce Department shows the U.S. economy just experienced its worst quarter since 2022. GDP registered 0.3% in the first quarter. This was the report that investors are reacting to. GDP measures all the goods and services produced in the economy. Most economists say President Donald Trump's plans to reshape global trade are likely to send inflation climbing in the U.S., and they believe his actions could trigger a recession.
And happening right now in the WRAL Live Center this afternoon, we have learned the Ava Gardner Museum lost a federal grant today. It helped fund the work of local historians and the preservation of items that are in that museum. The grant was from the Institution of Museum and Library Science, and they said it was terminated immediately. It was set to be complete in August. The grant also paid for equipment needed to care for, showcase, and display items in the museum. The executive director told us in short term, this will not affect daily operations, but it will long term.
Carolina Hurricanes are headed to the second round of the Stanley Cup playoffs. Tickets go on sale to the general public Friday at noon. Don't have a schedule yet for the games. Sebastian Aho secured the series clinching win in dramatic fashion. He scored on a power play goal in double overtime to help the Canes clinch their first round playoff series in 5 games. Canes are the first team to advance to the second round, and next up for them will be the winner of the series between Washington and Montreal. Capitals hold a commanding 3-1 edge and can close out that series tonight.
And back here in the Live Center, following some breaking news, the Atlanta Falcons and their defensive coordinator have been fined for their involvement in a prank regarding Cleveland Browns quarterback Shedeur Sanders. The team was fined $250,000, their defensive coordinator $100,000. On April 25th, Sanders received a phone call from someone claiming to be the New Orleans Saints GM, who briefly pretended Sanders would be drafted by the team before revealing the call was a prank. On Sunday, Atlanta released a statement saying that Jeff Ulbrich, the defensive coordinator's son, he was responsible for that call. Jack said in an Instagram post, "I am so sorry, Shedeur, that I took away from your moment. It was selfish and childish, and I hope you can find it in your heart to forgive me."
Michelle, thanks. Still to come, botched raid and immigration takedown on an Oklahoma family goes terribly wrong.
Also, new rules for climbers. What you have to climb first if you want to scale Mount Everest.
Plus, ending food waste, how to extend food's shelf life and waste less.
Keep watching WRAL News over the air Channel 34 and Spectrum Channel 1257.
A mother says her family's fresh start in Oklahoma turned into a nightmare. The American mother recently moved from Maryland with her 3 daughters and quickly found themselves targeted by nearly 24 federal immigration agents. Spencer Humphrey reports turns out the agents had the wrong people.
Fear.
I did feel at times I felt I was going to die.
So much fear.
I kept praying. I said, God, please let me live through this moment.
Humiliation.
I was a zero. I was nothing.
Pure disbelief.
I just couldn't understand, how is this happening to us?
All just for wanting a fresh start.
You come to Oklahoma and you get treated like this. For what?
This woman, who we're calling Marissa, and her 3 daughters came to Oklahoma from Maryland looking for a slower, more affordable pace of life. They rented this house in a nice, seemingly safe northwest Oklahoma City neighborhood. Her husband planned to join them this past weekend, but any semblance they had of comfort went out the window when 20 men armed to the teeth busted through it Thursday morning.
I don't know who they were. They had guns. It was dark. All the lights were off.
They were federal agents, Marissa says, with the U.S. Marshals, ICE, and the FBI.
And I kept asking them, like, who are you? What are you doing here? What's happening? And they said, we have a warrant for the house.
They ordered Marissa and her daughters outside into the rain before they could even get dressed.
They wanted me to change in front of all of them, in between all of them.
The thing is, the suspect names on that search warrant were not Marissa's or anyone in her family's. They were, however, names listed on mail still arriving at the house. Former residents, perhaps.
We just moved here from Maryland. We're citizens. That's what I kept saying. We're citizens.
She says they didn't care.
We weren't criminals. Why were they treating us like criminals? We were here by ourselves. We didn't do anything.
The agents ripped apart every square inch of the house, taking their phones, laptops, documents, and their life savings in cash as evidence.
Like, I have to feed my children. I'm gonna need gas money. I need to be able to get around. Like, how do you just leave me like this, like an abandoned dog?
That was Spencer Humphrey reporting, and the U.S. Marshals denied participating in the raid while the FBI says it assisted on the case.
And happening right now in the WRAL Live Center, following some more breaking news, we have just learned that Columbia student Mohsen Madawi is free on bail after a judge ordered his release from federal custody. This comes weeks after armed DHS agents detained him in Vermont on April 14th during his naturalization interview. He's a key organizer of pro-Palestinian protests at Columbia last year. He is a U.S. permanent resident. The judge ordered his release from prison on bail pending the resolution of his habeas petition. Now, the government requested that judge pause his release from prison for 7 days by issuing a stay of order. The judge denied that.
Day 3 of testimony resumed today in the state criminal trial of 3 officers accused in the beating death of Tyree Nichols. 2 officers agreed to testify as part of a plea deal. 3 others pleaded not guilty to second-degree murder and other charges. The beating of Nichols was caught on police video and led to national protests. A University of Delaware student is dead and 8 people are injured after a crash on campus. Police say 2 people were inside a parked U-Haul. The driver took off as officers approached. The U-Haul drove over a curb and hit a marked police car. Several minutes later, the speeding truck hit 2 people who were standing next to a parked car before hitting several parked cars. Officers arrested both the driver and the passenger. The driver is being treated for serious injuries.
Nepal plans to introduce a new rule for anyone who wants to climb Mount Everest. Under the proposal, climbers would only be allowed to get a permit if they've already climbed at least one of the Himalayan nation's nearly 23,000-foot peaks. The mountain guide accompanying a climber also must be a Nepali citizen. The law is expected to reduce overcrowding and improve safety. Overcrowding has been blamed for the high number of deaths on that mountain. Space researchers have a new picture of the sun that could help them study different layers of the sun's atmosphere. It's the first image taken by the new visible tunable filter of the Inouye Solar Telescope. You see the picture here. It's fascinating. The instrument is able to build a close 3-dimensional view of what's going on the sun's surface. This picture reveals a cluster of dark sunspots near the center of the inner atmospheres, and those spots are the size of a continent.
Amazing. Well, take a look at Pinehurst. This is a live look where one of the 10 regulation golf courses will be closed for the summer. Now, according to the Pinehurst Resort, the greens did not grow well during the winter. So the resort will close the course from May 19th through August 6th to work on restoration. Specifically, they're closing number 4, and that's the one where you can see the sand there. It's off in the distance there. That course has quickly become a guest favorite at Pinehurst since a 2018 Gil Hanse restoration. Well, today, if you're going to play some golf, you'll make sure you get some sunscreen and hydrate. And if you're going to make some weekend plans, well, keep the rain gear handy. Meteorologist Kat Campbell in the WRAL Severe Weather Center with our weekend outlook.
I wish I had better news to report, Renee, but unfortunately the trend toward a wetter weekend continued with today's midday model data. So just a heads up, have an indoor backup plan, at least have an umbrella on hand. It's not going to rain all weekend long, but there is a chance both days. So let's start with tomorrow. Tonight we could see some scattered storms develop. Tomorrow should be a drier day. Still hot, 91, but only a 20% chance for rain tomorrow. Friday, notice this cold front off to the north and west. This gets a little bit closer to us, and that could spark some isolated thunderstorms Friday later in the afternoon and into the evening. Still, the main front doesn't get here until Saturday, and with that, just a small chance for rain in the morning. I would say about a 20% chance for the Komen Race for the Cure. I encourage you to check in for updates, though. We don't yet have the high-resolution model data in for Saturday, but we'll start to get that in tomorrow. It looks like the best chance for rain Saturday would come later in the evening hours and into Saturday night. And then we're in for an unsettled pattern after that. Low pressure may actually stall in the upper levels of the atmosphere, and this is what we call a cutoff low. And the reason why, the swirl in blue that you see here, that's the low pressure system. It's sitting there and it's stuck. What happens is usually you've got the jet stream that comes along and it pushes things on from west to east and doesn't allow systems to linger. But the jet stream is all the way up here, far away from this low pressure system. So this is just going to sit here until you get the jet stream strong enough to finally come in and push it on out. Because of that, next week, even trending unsettled. Enjoy today. Bottom line here, enjoy the sunshine today. It's beautiful outside. 90 our forecast high. That would tie the previous record set back in 1906. We're forecasting 89 in Cary, Holly Springs, and Garner, 90 in Raleigh, 88 in Wake Forest this afternoon. At the bus stop, it's around 88 for the kids heading home. Mostly dry still. I think the best chance of a stray shower then would be closer to perhaps Person County. But right now, we are in the clear on the dual Doppler 5000 radar. So if you're about to head out to lunch, and you want to get an outdoor table, go for it. It's still nice out there. No imminent rain on the radar. Tomorrow, the drier day if you need to do something outside. Friday, an isolated storm chance returns and then turning unsettled starting over the weekend. That could last into next week. One big thing to note, it's likely to be much cooler once we get to Sunday. Upper level low pressure systems usually lead to cloudy weather, cool weather, and wet weather in our area. So if you're not ready for the summer heat and you're not enjoying the 90s that we have in the forecast, we will cool down again after this.
There's something for everyone in that 7-day. Kat, thank you. Password sharing crackdown. More streaming sites are making the move, stopping you from using your friends or family members' accounts. Today on WRAL News at 4, what you can do to save money in the long run.
Extreme heartburn is how one Orange County commissioner described his reaction to the Chapel Hill-Carrboro City School District's budget ask, what they will pay for, coming up at 5. Still ahead this noon, hidden phone apps, a warning for parents about their kids' phone. The applications experts say could pose a risk to their safety.
What do Yarn, Scout, and Hala have in common? They're all apps that could be on your child's phone, and they could pose risks. 5 on your side's Keely Arthur highlights the top apps every parent should know about to help keep their kids safe.
A new day and another phone app to be aware of. Luckily, law enforcement agencies across the country, including right here in North Carolina, have put out this list of apps every parent needs to know about in 2025. I want to direct you to these calculator apps, or at least that's what they look like. In reality, it's an app that allows users to hide videos, photos, and documents, making it difficult for even the most in-the-know parents to monitor what their children do on cell phones.
That you want to teach your children how to behave when you're not there, when you are not monitoring with them, when you are not, being their digital guardian. You want to give them strategies so that way when some kid comes up to them and says, oh my gosh, I just saw this and it looks really hot, and you go, oh, they need to be able to say, oh gosh, no.
We put this list up on our website for you to explore yourself, but we want to help you even more. So coming up tonight on WRAL News at 6, I'm going to walk you through the tools you already have on your cell phones and computers that allow you to monitor your child's social media and screen time use. Keely Arthur, 5 on your side.
Meta is launching a new artificial intelligence app to compete with ChatGPT. It's built with Meta's Llama 4 AI system. Users will be able to text or talk to it and also generate images. The app will feature a Discover feed that will show how others are interacting with it. Users will also be able to link their Facebook and Instagram accounts to it. Some Delta Airlines employees are getting a boost in pay. Ground staff and flight attendants are receiving a 4% increase. The raise comes after $1 billion worth of bonuses were paid out to employees as part of a profit-sharing scheme between Delta and SkyTeam. The airline says this is the 4th consecutive year of these types of pay raises.
Face the judge. A pair charged with prompting an Amber Alert is expected in court shortly. We are standing by for their first court appearance.
Funding improvements. The proposal lawmakers plan to discuss today that could make air travel safer. And here is a look at your winning lottery numbers from the NC Education Lottery. We'll be right back.
Shot in 4K ultra high definition. Your #1 source for local news. WRAL News. Coverage you can count on.
2 people accused of kidnapping a mom and her 1-year-old daughter are due in a Wake County courtroom soon. Paula and Miguel Duran are facing 2 charges of kidnapping. WRAL's Julian Grace is live in downtown Raleigh. Julian, Garner police are crediting others with helping in making the arrests.
They are, Renee. Both the SBI and the FBI were involved in this investigation. Now, the initial court hearing is scheduled to start at 1:30 inside the courtroom here, and we will be inside for the proceedings. But we do want to run you back through how this all started in the first place. Let's go back to video in Garner. This is the area that it started, according to police. They say the Durans went inside with a third person into a home with guns demanding money. The suspects then duct taped the husband inside and kidnapped the wife and their 1-year-old daughter. And then in less than 24 hours later, police were able to find the victims. Now, we're told there's still more details to work out in this investigation. And the Gardner Police Department, they don't want to release all the information they know at this point, but they are crediting the SBI and the FBI with helping in this investigation and being able to find the wife and daughter within 24 hours of their kidnapping. Once we're inside, we're expected to hear more information on how this all transpired and what's next. For now, reporting live in downtown Raleigh, Julian Grace, WRAL News.
We know shots were fired in Cary around 11:15 p.m. Police say they received several calls from neighbors hearing gunshots on Village Greenway. Fortunately, no one was injured. This video shows officers looking for any damage to property. We know they found a gun on the scene. We are working to learn more about what they found.
Today, work to improve public schooling gets back underway. It's the day 2 of 3 days of planning, a session for the State Board of Education you see here. They plan to cover 2 big issues today, and first one, supporting beginning teachers to reduce turnover among educators. The board will also discuss how supporting staff like school nurses and counselors and social workers improve students and communities. A new House bill would allow districts to set their own school calendars, and a bigger fight with the state Senate awaits. The Senate is proposing only minor changes to the current system. Right now, the state sets parameters on when most schools can begin and end. For more on this issue, you can go to the NC Capitol section of WRAL.com.
California Senator Adam Schiff and other Democrats plan to reintroduce an assault weapons ban this afternoon. The proposal would ban the purchase and possession of high-powered semi-auto firearms such as the popular AR-15 rifle. The bill has virtually no chance of becoming law since Republicans control the White House and both chambers of Congress. Schiff is taking over as a lead sponsor of the assault weapons ban from Senator Dianne Feinstein, who died in September 2023. Schiff was elected to her seat last year. Meanwhile, the House Transportation Committee is expected to discuss a $15 billion funding bill for air traffic control reform. The funding would last through 2029 to replace older facilities, technology, and hire new workers. A quarter of all FAA facilities are 50 years old or older. The measure also includes a $200 electric vehicle fee.
Trump administration has dismissed former Second Gentleman Doug Emhoff from the U.S. Holocaust Memorial Council. Emhoff is Jewish, and he says the move politicizes the Holocaust and, quote, dishonors the memory of 6 million Jews murdered by Nazis. The former Second Gentleman says despite his removal, his dedication to combating anti-Semitism and hate in all forms will continue. Americans could soon have an alternative way to access their Social Security cards. The Social Security Administration is introducing a new feature that will give applicants and beneficiaries the option to view their Social Security number online. The secure digital access is coming early this summer. The agency says the change offers a simple solution for those who forgot their number or just misplaced their card.
The State Department of Transportation is honoring the life of a local man who made an impact on our state. They dedicated the Interchange 440 and Capitol Boulevard in Raleigh as the Conan Morgan Interchange. Morgan was killed in 2023 in a boating accident. He was a political strategist. Morgan also went to Gardner Magnet High and graduated from NC State. His family spoke today about what this means to them.
The interchange being named in his honor means so much to us and our family, not just because of the recognition, but because it reflects how he lived, always moving things forward, always connecting people, and always finding a way to build something lasting.
NCDOT leaders passed a resolution for this designation back in January. It serves as a reminder of Morgan's service to the community.
Cardio versus strength training, which is more effective? The takeaway from new research.
Plus, celebrating 30 years, a Wake County teacher marks a milestone. How Ken Smith surprised her with an award. Remember, you can watch WRAL News live anytime on WRAL.com or the WRAL app on your streaming device. With today's highs stretching into the 80s, maybe even hitting 90, yeah, it would be a great day to be out on the water. Perhaps we could recommend Lake Gaston as we look live. You're watching WRAL News, available on Spectrum and the WRAL app on your TV or streaming device.
Our Teacher of the Week has been teaching kindergarten for 30 years at the same Wake County school. WRAL's Ken Smith paid a surprise visit to Poe Magnet Elementary School to recognize this special teacher.
And what did his friends do, Angel? How did they help him?
Karen Williams is always figuring out ways to help her young students learn. She says she's always had a special connection to little children.
It's my gift. Everyone has a gift they're given. You got to figure out what your gift is. And I know mine is little children.
Teaching little ones has become her life's work. 30 years and counting at Poe Magnet Elementary, not to mention her other teaching stints.
I love little kids. I teach at my church. I teach here. I taught in daycare. Wow, isn't that cool? Yeah. Yeah, so that's part of the playground. Give Greg a hand.
Miss Williams prides herself on creating a warm, nurturing learning environment for her kindergarten students.
I try to do something fun with them every day. And I tell them, in kindergarten, no one should not like school. You should come to school wanting to learn every day.
Miss Williams, you are WRAL's Teacher of the Week. And in true Miss Williams fashion, proving everyone is welcome and everyone belongs, she's celebrated with her students.
We are a team. Come on.
Ken Smith, WRAL News.
What a team it is. You know, figure out your gift and share it. That's what she does. Beautiful words. If you'd like to nominate a teacher, you can go to WRAL.com, enter Teacher of the Week in the search box.
Waste not, want not. How an annual initiative could prevent Americans from throwing out billions of dollars worth of perfectly good food each year.
Loose change, anyone? Crews spent hours collecting newly minted coins after a crash in Texas. What officers say contributed to that accident?
Today is Stop Food Waste Day. It falls on the last Wednesday of April. Since 2017, the initiative has helped teach people and ignite changes that can keep food waste out of landfills and put more in your belly. Anna Eliopoulos explains how to extend food's shelf life and waste less.
Uneaten food tossed from the refrigerator, produce too ugly to sell, and meals out not completely consumed, all contributing to the astonishing 120 billion pounds of food that's discarded by Americans each year.
At every point throughout the day, we are throwing out food. So, and when you make your breakfast in the morning, maybe you don't finish a little piece of the eggs that's left in there. If you're a retailer, that volume is so much higher.
To help alleviate some of that food waste, Too Good To Go allows people to save surplus meals that would otherwise be headed for the landfill. Available in 33 cities across the country, the app already saving 426 million meals from going in the trash.
On top of it, if you think about just the money you're throwing out by throwing away good food.
20% of food waste comes from consumers misunderstanding date labels.
So when you see best before, use by, consume by, purchase by, they're all different. What that does is contribute to a lot of confusion. It's because we see that date and we think, oh, I cannot eat it past this day. It's going to make me sick. And that's just simply not true.
The average American family throws out more than $1,800 in food annually. That number can be reduced by implementing some new habits, including keeping a grocery list, checking what you have in your pantry and fridge before you go to the grocery, and using your senses. Look, smell, and taste before you waste.
If it's reached its best before date or it's used by date or it's sell by date and you start to realize, oh, it actually doesn't smell bad, it doesn't look bad, it doesn't taste bad, you'll start to then see there are some items that I definitely have been throwing out prematurely.
That was Anna Eliopoulos reporting. So what do all those dates mean on food packages? According to the American Heart Association, a sell-by date tells the store how long to display the product for sale. A best if used by or before date is recommended for the best flavor or quality. And a use by date is the last date recommended for the use of the product while at peak quality.
All right, when it comes to working out, some people believe cardio is better for you. Others argue strength training is best. So which is it? Well, an exercise physiologist says both. That's because cardio offers benefits for your heart. Building muscles can improve your bone and joint health. If lifting weights intimidates you, there are plenty of other options.
By any means, I don't want to scare people from doing it. Pilates is actually another good way to kind of do some strength training, especially for the core. That's generally a little bit more, lower impact than anything along those lines too.
To maintain fitness, it is recommended to do 150 minutes of moderate intensity aerobic activity a week. And you can split that up any way you like and include at least 2 days a week of strength training as well.
Yeah, you got to have both. They go hand in hand to build a healthier body.
Variety, right? Mix it up. Today'd be a great day to get out, especially, early mornings this week have been really nice. Now we're starting to ramp up temperatures.
Sure. I don't know about doing cardio when it's 90 degrees. Some people are tougher than others. Meteorologist Kat Campbell in the WRAL Severe Weather Center, or people are doing yard work.
I'm not running outside this afternoon. It wasn't bad this morning, but I've got to say it was more humid. You could feel the difference. If you want to get your yard work done today, tomorrow, pretty good days to do it. Friday's not all that bad, but over the weekend, you may run into some bumps here with some of these scattered thunderstorms in the forecast. And then next week is trending wetter. We may have to bump up rain chances for next week as well. An upper level low could stall and just get cut off from the jet stream, so there's nothing to push it out of here. Because of that, rainfall totals are trending higher, generally half an inch to an inch of rain in the forecast over the next 5 days. I've looked over the latest model data this afternoon, and this is my thinking for the timing of the best chance for storms each day. Again, we don't have high-resolution model data out for the weekend yet, so we'll update those numbers as that becomes available. Tomorrow, rain chances are minimal. As we look ahead to Friday, it would be about 4 to 9 p.m. that I think we've got the best chance of a shower or storm, 3 to 11 p.m. Saturday, and pretty much any point in time during the day Sunday. It's a type of forecast where we just can't narrow it down just yet. At RDU today, you can see mostly sunny skies, some cirrus clouds there in the distance, a good day for flying. It's also a nice day to do lunch outside. We're up to 85 degrees already. And during the afternoon, we could hit 90 by 4 o'clock. By 3 o'clock, we've got about a 30% chance of an isolated thunderstorm. However, if you're going to some of our popular golf courses from the Triangle South, I think you'll be in okay shape early this afternoon. It's mainly toward the Virginia border that we would initially see a couple of these storms pop up a bit earlier, and then storm chances tick up as we head later into the evening and tonight. The dual Doppler 5000 radar remains quiet at this hour, so if you need to do anything outside in the near term, you are in the clear. But as we move on ahead closer to 3 o'clock, we could see a stray storm develop right along the Virginia border, still dry for the kids that are heading home from school around 3 o'clock in the Triangle. By 5 o'clock, some of those storms sag a little farther to the south, getting a little closer to Wake County, but the better chance looks like it would come dinner time and maybe even later than that for Wake County. And then as these storms continue to push to the south, they may never make it to Fayetteville, with the rain kind of fizzling out as we head later into the nighttime hours. Over the next couple of days, we'll watch for some isolated thunderstorms. Saturday and Sunday, rain chances go up and temperatures go down. Next week, we could see our lows back in the 50s. That's a sign it's a little bit less muggy feeling outside, but I do think that we may need to bump up those storm chances. We'll get in a new round of afternoon model data here over the next 2 hours, and join me at 4. I'll let you know if we have to increase those chances.
Look at yourself in the mirror. Sometimes you do have to peck at that mirror. You don't like what you see.
Bird behavior. Sometimes it makes perfect sense, what the National Audubon Society attributes to this habit.
And here's a look at your winning Mega Millions numbers. We'll be right back. We'll wrap things up with a look at a few of the things that we are following for you today. Here are headlines. All eastbound lanes of I-40 in Johnston County near Cleveland Road are now open following a crash. Sky 5 flew over the scene just a few hours ago. A fire truck had blocked all lanes of NC-42 while officers investigated. It's unclear what caused the collision and if anyone was hurt.
North Carolina has a new DMV commissioner. Paul Tyne will replace Wayne Goodwin, who has led the DMV since 2022. Tyne served 2 terms in the State House of Representatives, representing Dare, Hyde, Washington, and Beaufort counties. He says he will work to address wait times, staffing challenges, and improve customer satisfaction. His first day on the job will be May 6th, one day before the REAL ID requirement takes effect across the nation.
2 people accused of kidnapping a mom and her 1-year-old daughter are due in court soon. Paula and Miguel Duran are facing 2 charges of kidnapping. Both are scheduled to be in a Wake County courtroom this afternoon. The kidnapping happened around 2 a.m. yesterday, and police say 3 people broke into a home while wearing masks and carrying guns and demanded $1 million. Officers say the pair kidnapped his wife, Alondra De Jesus, and her 1-year-old child, Garcia Benitez. They were found safe in Wake Forest.
A highway in North Texas is back open 14 hours after a crash spilled $80,000 in coins all over the road. Investigators say the driver veered off the road, overcorrected, and then overturned. Street sweepers collected the shiny new dimes on the road. Another crew used vacuums to suck up the change from a muddy ditch. The driver and the passenger were not seriously hurt.
Well, people in a Massachusetts neighborhood are dealing with a worrisome woodpecker. A few weeks ago, people started noticing their mirrors had been adjusted. Some of them were cracked. Well, they wrote it off thinking it was the work of a child until someone caught the woodpecker just drumming away at the mirror. Experts attribute the behavior to a male woodpecker and say this is common during mating season.
Most of them are, laughing like we are. They're not angry with him. He's just doing his normal bird stuff. And unfortunately, it's costing us a little bit of money, but it's kind of fun to see it.
Well, mating season ends in June. You look forward to that. So to prevent additional damage to those car mirrors, some people are taking precautions like folding them in when they get out of their vehicles, and others have resorted to wrapping trash bags around the mirrors.
Just normal bird stuff.
Yeah, bird stuff.
Our pet of the day is a spry 15-year-old girl from Cat Angels NC. Meet Lily. This very sweet, loving girl enjoys being brushed and shows her appreciation with a beautiful, loud purr. Lily chases a red dot with vigor and loves, loves, loves her bird toy. She does prefer to be an only cat so she can soak up all the attention from her human. Lily has been diagnosed with a kidney disease, but it is inexpensive to treat. If you'd like to meet her in person, fill out an application on the Cat Angels website.
Password protection. A lot of streaming services are trying to stop password sharing, making it harder for you to access friends and family members' accounts. Today on WRAL News at 4, the alternative options you can do to access your favorite shows.
NBC News Daily is next on WRAL. Your next local news update in 30 minutes.
You can get breaking news updates anytime with our WRAL News app. Have a great day out there.
Keep watching WRAL News over the air Channel 34 and Spectrum Channel 1257.